Get inside. Shut up. Absolutely.
Today, I'm bringing you guys my updated Archer guide for Rise of Kingdoms in 2026. But before I spin up yours, what's going on, guys? Sure. Yeah, as you guys know, I'm a sponsored partner creator with Rise of Kingdoms, so if you want more Rise of Kingdoms content, drop a thumbs up down below. And use the new type feature. This really does help out channels like mine a ton. And you might think you're subscribed, but you're actually not. Double check down below because we are so close to 100,000 subscribers. Alright, folks, let's jump right in here. And the first thing that I'm going to let you guys know is that you can use the chapters down below to jump to the part of the video that you care about the most. So as I like to do in my troop type guide videos, I just want to quickly touch on the best civilization, the best city skin, and the best formation to use archers. And honestly, for archers, this is like the easiest of all different types. Okay, first of all, the best civilization for archers is just going to be the Ottoman Empire, and it's kind of not even close. I mean, the Ottoman Empire gives you the Janissary Special Unit, which has higher base stats than just your regular tier 4 or tier 5 archer. And on top of that, you get 5% archer repel, 5% march speed, which archers really need. We'll talk about that later in the video. And you get 5% commander skill damage, which, if you guys know anything about archers, the name of the game is skill damage. So archers specifically benefit from 4 out of the 4 bonuses that you get here while picking Ottoman. So there really is simply no better option. Now, when it comes to your city skin, of course, we have the Twilight Balls. You get this from the KvK shop. Most players have their hands on this, especially in the end game. But if you don't have that, just pick any epic archer skin that gives you some amount of stats, and you should be good to go. Now, this goes without saying, but the reason that you use Twilight Falls is because you get 5% skill damage, and that's just like the best buff that you can get. Or your archer armies, I mean, they're all without skill damage, so this is what you want. It's also worth noting that the Hala Mahal is a recent city skin I added to the KvK shop, and this is also a decent city skin to use as well. 8% defense for all of your different troop types, not just archers, so keep that in mind. Now let's talk about the best formation for archers, and again, this is very straightforward. It's just going to be the wedge formation. They recently actually released a wedge 2, and that bumped up the skill damage that you get for wedge formation. It used to be 5%, now it's 12%, and we also have the new armaments here. You'll see they have a level 2 below them, and these are all just much stronger than the older wedge armaments, okay? And you can mix and match them, so if you're a returning player, don't worry about it, your old stuff can still be used. So wedge formation is clearly the way to go, and we probably won't see a new wedge formation for at least a year at this point, so you can pretty much lock this in and feel really good about the progress that you make here. Let's look about some KvK 1 commander pairings and even KvK 2. I'm only going to touch on this briefly because I've discussed this plenty of times in the past. But if you're a brand new player going into KvK 1 and you want to specifically use archers, which isn't really the best idea. In fact, I recently made a video that shows all the best beginner commanders to use. Check that video out if you missed it. But if you want to use archers just for fun, for more reasons, or just to OP or something like that, then you do have a couple of choices. First of all, you can use somebody like Herman with Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu would be the secondary there, even though he has better active skill. Or you could use somebody like Kusunoki with Sun Tzu. Or, of course, you could just pair these two archers together. The reason that I talk about Sun Tzu, even though this is an archer guide, is because he kind of doesn't really care that much about your troop type, besides his talents, right? And this little bit of health here. But otherwise, he just deals 5 targeting skill damage, and he's got a skill damage bonus. He gives you a little bit of tankiness. So in KvK1, Sun Tzu is just a commander that you can slap pretty much anywhere, and he does well. Herman is unfortunately single target damage, but it's a really high damage factor compared to what we see on Kusunoki. Does deal damage over time, and while Kusunoki does have more stats than Herman, Herman also has the march speed, and he has a nice range engine here. So overall, he might go a little bit better, but Herman is going to be a little bit faster, so this is going to be straight up there. When it comes to legendary commanders that you want to use for KvK 1, which that's next to, of course, we have to talk about Lisa, okay? And so we've just discussed him quite a bit later on the video, so I'm not going to dwell on him just like right now. But in the early game, if you're a whale and you're going strong, you're going to pair him with Lithos, who is also a 3-target A commander, who's got some nice stats, a little bit of punch.
I took a shower? I don't know.
Almost.
I didn't eat anything? All I ate was grapes? No, bro.
And he has the skill tree, right? And the skill tree is going to be super important for dealing as much damage as possible. This is kind of the build that I would use power a ISP primary. If you don't have the hooks, then of course you could rock something like Elson, right? He's got the OG Gold Key Archer Commander. He is unfortunately only single target damage, but he does have a little bit of like a disable here or a disarm. He hasn't even ways to proc in a second.
I'm spreading over this meeting and they're talking about some meeting most important meeting. Make sure you come to this meeting. Yeah.
And he gets back.
See what time is it still 9? Just turned 10. It's crazy. Crazy. This is normal time I leave the fucking meeting. Bro, I get there 9:07. I'm supposed to be there at 9:07. Clocked in. They're looking at me like, why are you late? I'm like, oh, I meeting starts at 9:50. Like, that's what it says. Like, you're supposed to be here at 9. I'm like,
circles, give them a week.
that's time to wait still. So I sat down. 9:07. I clocked in. 9:15. Meeting closed.
Epics in KvK 2 pointed, so I would still stick with YSG.
Why am I late? Why did I even come here? That's the question. What the fuck?
And wonder why they're so big.
My text when I played, I should be like 2 million. 9:15. Meeting adjourned. I'm just like, why, Lord? Why? I got a new PM. I like her. She's cool. She likes anime.
Best in-game pairings in Season of Conquest. Season 3, we do have to touch on the commander swap event. This is an event.
I already knew she was going to be the GM before she even came. So it's just like, I don't need to come to this fucking meeting for anything. It's so annoying, yo. I'm going to start excusing myself for this meeting. Fuck this shit. Literally wasting my time. I could have been sleeping.
Or spender, like, this is absolutely critical that you take advantage of this. So if you want a more in-depth guide for this, check it out on the channel. But the challenge is that you're converting all progress on one legendary to another legendary, and there's a gathering of heroes event that comes around at the same time, which lets you get your hands on some new commanders, right? Which ones are available to you really depends on a bunch of different factors and when you pass around. But basically, the number one card that you get your hands on there as an ultra player, it really benefits as any trip type player is Emperor Jin, because he is pretty much the best commander in the game right now. So Grind is the only other commander kind of in that ballpark, I would say. But really, I think Emperor Jin is the strongest commander in the game, and he is an Archer commander. So you need to get your hands on him. If you only get one commander from the Slosh commander, because we're really sauce, whatever the case is, he is your guy. Okay, other great commanders you can get from the swap event would be somebody like Jui Liang, if he is available to you in the Gathering Heroes event, which he might not be. Albert Arsalan is probably going to be something you can get your hands on, but I have to double check on that. I think he will be a tier 0 archer, if I'm not mistaken. But beyond that, your other best options are commanders following types like King Arthur Burton. Alright, with all of this out of the way, let's jump into the best archer pairs in the end game. So Season 3, Season of Conquest. This is probably what a lot of you guys actually clicked on the video for. And if you just use the timestamps to jump to this section, welcome. We're going to go over the single best archer march, the best 2 archer lineups, and the best 3 archer lineups. And for the purposes of this video, these are the other armies that I would probably be considering using if I were an archer main. You could argue flipping around these depending on what you prefer. I've talked in previous videos as to why I prefer this specific infantry setup. As of course, you could consider something like Attila or Rico Philip here instead of Hector, but this is an archer video, so I don't want to discuss this too much. If you have slight variations here, that's totally fine. Let's talk about archers, okay? If you're running a single archer march, I think the most obvious option here is, of course, Emperor Jin primary with Julian secondary, or you could, of course, run Isong Ye as the secondary, depending on which one you have on. Now, for the last, I think, 2 KvKs, I've actually been running the Jui Liang as the secondary for my Emperor Jin, because even though it deals a little bit less damage than the YSG secondary, it also sort of helps everybody else on the battlefield with the debuff on the active skill of Jui Liang. So you sacrifice this march's performance a little bit in order to bump up the performance of everybody around you, including your own other marchers. So personally, this is my favorite way to run a single archer march, but YSG is a close second for sure. So if you have YSG, don't invest in Jui Liang, just run this one march, you're good to go. If you're running 2 archer marches, that's where things start to get a little bit more interesting. And in order to talk about a 2 archer lineup, we do have to talk about the new commander on the block, Alp Arslan, and a couple of different pairings that we could do with him. Now, Alp actually landed in the game while I was on vacation. And so after I got back, I kind of checked in on a couple of different content creators to see what were the test results like, what the consensus was, who the best pairings were. And before I left for vacation, Elk was announced, but he wasn't in the game. And I made a couple of different predictions, things that I thought might be the case. Some of these predictions were spot on, right? Completely wrong. So, for example, I called out late power. I said this would probably good. It turns out that it actually is. But I also had a theory that you might want to stack a bunch of different sources of debuffs in order to maximize the speed with which you get the benevolence of that third skill. Turns out you get this really fast even without any extra added sources. So if you don't want to use the dagger or Morris Web, you don't need to get Cage of Thorns here on Herman. Like, forget that theory entirely. Now, my predictions for best commander pairs for Elva were Herman Prime and maybe Shajar, because it seems like that was a commander that the devs they had in mind when they were building his kit, because there's kind of like a whole section on like healing and true damage and things like that for a lot of his skills, and it turns out that that was kind of right. And ironically, looking through the test results of a bunch of different people in the community, just four tabs, clicking on the list, and also a really great breakdown of
That's it, bro. I made my head down. Go ahead.
I think Dom did some testing. I think Chad's
I
did
can't
some
have bad as
testing.
fuck. So slide again. I'm like, damn, I ain't got no weed.
Senses here, even though
Nobody gonna bring no weed this time in the morning.
players,
So I was like, it's scraping. Imagination mode.
Very
3 o'clock in the morning, straight instead of just this like limp baby ass joint.
Over to your base.
Discrepancy between actual best pairings and
Sitting that shit all day at work. I was gonna get that shit when I get on real. So
I've seen one around the community on that help is best.
At least you have something.
Yeah. Usually from the bench, and you
I
use the
could-
YSG
I was trying to get over
chin, and then you're good to
so
go.
I
I
really-
actually think of both of these commander pairs have
Yes.
some merit to them, so we have to get into the nuance as to why some people are saying
They are too slow.
pair is much better, and why some are saying the other is much better. But let's start with the Herman Prime. For me, this is one I actually think makes
It's the fucking third time Danielle gonna try to kill a nigga.
go all and all.
Wow.
It's probably gonna be the
Bruh,
one that
I was high as fuck that night. She gave me that chocolate. That shit hit me even out in the room.
as
The what?
primary.
That chocolate she gave me, that shit hit me so damn hard. Yo, I'm high as fuck.
it was just regular chocolate.
That's what I thought too. I told her. She's like, it's lit, right? I was like, bruh. I was like,
Glad I didn't take it.
I was high as fuck. It felt good. I was just high as fuck. I just wasn't expecting to be that high that night.
Mm-hmm.
Red.
See, if I take it, I would be super fucked up that night.
But yeah, you really came home. Go.
Cause I drank vodka and Heineken. I would have been
And it's
Yummy.
just tangy. There you go. I would be willing to bet though that alcohol
Yeah,
was out, so it's not a weed, which is typically not great for combat where you're going in and out. Oftentimes, you want the primary to be AoE, but this synergy
Just
here
the eight,
is
oh, we missed that 11.
right? I think everyone in the community, when Alp was first revealed, were like, oh, okay, like, yeah, synergy with poison. The best poison commander right now is Herman Prime. So, like, clearly that's what the devs were going for, right? It was very obvious. And I think Chisel test result before text showed that this commander pairing was actually good. Now, Bill's video actually broke down the value of Alp with this game.
I tried to go vote for myself.
The logic here was that the active skill on Leon
Yeah.
is going to deal
At the end of the KvK, they have this thing where they're like, "Who's the most important player in your kingdom?" And everybody in your kingdom vote for that man. For some reason, a lot of people voted for me this KvK. I'm like, oh,
right. You also touched on that you're going to get it immediately with Herman's active skill as well. But the difference there is that with Two-Headed Eagle, the debuffs that are spread around the battlefield are picked at the right? So if the enemy has 3 or 4 of these different debuffs, it's not like it's going to prioritize Pierce and Poison. It's going to pick 2 of them randomly. So the idea is that, all right, Pierce is dealing a bunch of damage, right? So you would prioritize spreading the Pierce effect, and if you pair it with her Prime, then you might be spreading Poison debuffs, or possibly even a slow debuff, right? Depending on if you're using your primary Thorns, which as I said earlier, you should do it. And I think that logic makes a lot of sense, but the reason that
Sweet tastes
I
good.
personally think that the Herman Prime is a better choice here is for a few reasons. First of all, I think the assumption that you want to spread Pierce well is true, but I think that it's a little
I'm about to
bit
go back down. Shit.
portion where, like, let's think about this for a second, right? Let's say you're choosing Holiday Prime as the secondary, and you're not going to have any slows, so you'll have 3 of these 4 debuffs possible, right? You're either going to do Pierce with Poison or Pierce with normal debuffs. poison layoffs, which that's the one in theory you would want to avoid, right? But I do want to push back on that a little bit because I would say that spreading Pierce is objectively way superior than spreading the poison debuff stacks. And the reason for that is because, like, look, I know that Pierce is kind of the flavor of the month right now, and we're really excited about that, but I think it's a great idea to sort of downplay how powerful it is to spread a 45% skill damage taken increase from a full 15 stack of poison. Because let's think about this for a second, right? Who's the strongest commander in the game? Most players would agree that it's Emperor Shin. The character that you see most commonly in the end game in open field PvP, it is Emperor Shin. I mean, if you just zoom in and look at the dots, you look at the battlefield, this commander is everywhere, right? Whether you're free to play or a heavy spender, everyone's using Emperor Shin. Okay, why are they using him? Because he manages crazy damage, pretty much. I mean, his DPS is through the roof, his skill cycle is super fast, it's the fastest in the game. So why would you not want your enemies to take 45% more skill damage from the most common and highest DPS commander in the game? Like, I know that poison kind of fell off a little bit because now we've got smite damage and combo damage, but like, again, let's not pretend like spreading the poison debuff is a bad thing here, because everyone that's poisoned is going to take 45% more skill damage from all of the Emperor Chins hitting them. It's actually insane, okay? So is it better to spread Pierce than poison? Probably, but I don't think the difference is that much, such that you would really prefer the Alpha with the Jubileo. It's a pairing you can do, but I personally think that pairing Alpha with Prime is probably the way that you want to do this. The other reason, and this is one that I feel like nobody talked about. I don't remember exactly, but this is like something you kind of can't ignore here when you're discussing these different options. The Alp with Herman Prime is faster. You have 15% more speed on Herman. That is actually a massive deal. Like when we talk about Helion at the yard speed, historically it's been a big problem for him. So a lot of people sort of forgot about it because a lot of times you're using him with Emperor Shin. And Emperor Shin is, Emperor Liang is slow, but it's not as big of a deal because you're going to win the trade anyway, right? If your Emperor Shin with Liang gets caught out of place because it's slow in the battlefield, oh no, I only traded 1.7 to 1. Like, you're still trading positive even if you're out of place. At least that's been my experience. Whereas if you look at the kit on he's simply not dealing as much damage as a Merchant. That's why he's not a part of the single best Archer Mars. So if your Alp is caught out of place on the battlefield because he's slowed, because he's paired with Helion, you're cooked, okay? You're absolutely cooked. There's just not enough DPS there to make up for that. You're going to trade negative, okay? So I think that's actually like a super big downside to Helion in a real world sense. You're going to notice the slow march speed of Helion with your help that you will Jamilion on your inversion. Yeah, you're still probably going to trade. At worst, you're going to break even, but you're still probably going to trade positive if you've got decent gear and decent. So yes, if you pair your help with your Herman Prime, you may sometimes not spread your pure stocks. You may instead spread your poison with normal debuffs. I don't think that's the end of the world, and most of the time you're going to be spreading the Pierce, right? In fact, 2 out of 3 times you're going to be spreading your Pierce stuff. So it's either Pierce and poison or Pierce and normal debuffs. Only 1/3 of the time you're going to be spreading poison and right? Which again, I still don't think is the end of the world. I still think that is super good, and I don't think that makes Alpha a bad idea. And the final point that I want to make here when it comes to sort of the best pairing for Alp is this is sort of a loose bullet point, but I do at least want to mention it, and this is sort of just using Occam's razor, right? Let's just click on the guide here, and the game literally tells you the 2 commander pairs that the developers were considering when making Alp. Now, is this commander strategy section something you should always follow? No. Is it always right? No. But for a brand new commander, they did put Emperor in here, they did put Jimmy on here. These 2 commanders, Shazar and Herman Prime, are here for a reason, and I think if we just use Occam's razor and we say, okay, well, clearly they built out around these 2 commanders, right? So for all of those reasons, I think that the Alp Herman is probably the way to go here. So in conclusion, your army lineup for archers with either of something like this. or it would look something like this. Now, which you pick depends on your playstyle and frankly kind of your KvK matchup. If you don't mind your out being smaller with the Jimmy Leong instead of Norman, and you want to just maximize damage output, then yeah, that's probably the way to go. But otherwise, I think this is the safest Norman lineup for archers. Now, if you're running three archers in the open field, well, this changes once again. You've got a couple of different options. First of all, you could do something like this, and then you slap the Shajar behind the elf, mainly because there's nowhere else to put her. There's clearly a synergy there between elf and Shajar. I will say, though, that your set moves are probably going to be through the roof here, so just understand that this is more of like a supportive march than anything else, and honestly, this is more so for Canyon, if I'm being honest with you guys, right? So, assuming you're not going to use this jar, what else can you do? Well, you could rock the Oxbottle Ball here. I think that that would be completely fine. And if you don't have the Oxbottle Ball, then you could do something like this, and that's when you're going to break out the trusty Philip as the secondary. Yeah, I honestly don't love that as much as something like this.
I want to use that motherfucker Philip.
Primary here, of course, because he is.
Oh, yeah, outdated so fast. I thought he was going to get sick.
First, my opinion. Personally, I'm way more confident in my two army lineup here. Just to be upfront with you guys. And the last part that I want to touch on here is that we are kind of expecting another Archer Legendary, at least one more, before the end of the year.
Really?
And that's because all of the speculation is that a new specialty commander is planned in the game, similar to Achilles, similar to Hector, and before that Ragnar Prime. And because Ragnar was infantry and because Achilles was cavalry, logic would dictate that we likely get an archer here this year for the special KvK story commander if they decide to do one. And I do think that is likely, and I also think that that actually might be the commander you pair with Help, if I'm being honest with you guys. Like, it looks like they designed Help to work with Herman, and you might make the argument for Helion as well, but if we got, like, Achilles, but archers for the next KvK story commander, then almost certainly that would be the best commander pair here, or you would definitely run with Emperor Jin, right? I mean, that would just be absolutely busted. But an AoE skill damage commander that doesn't have any other debuffs, so that way you can guarantee that you
Should I?
get your stocks. And
I feel like you already did. Oh my god, like, your daddy just voted for me. But I feel like you already did.
Now, we also just heard about a new leadership legendary commander coming to the game for Syndicate.
Nah, I'm calling this man full of surprises. You never fucking down.
But we don't know the skills of that commander on, so I don't speculate. But what I will say is that they have a shielding mechanic, and so what you're
I'm not gonna tell him to do it now. I just want to know if you voted or not, and if you did, who you vote for.
They have it very tanky and very fast that you actually would put them here and you actually run this. But again, I'm really going off in speculative territory now, so yeah, I just wanted to point that out. It's at least worth keeping on your radar. So wrap up the video. Well, let's really talk about something best quick that you can use your kingdoms and
Hello?
really
Hey,
doesn't
morning.
change that much. The best thing that you could
Did I have to pay you back for that
do
picture?
two KvK pieces so the KvK
Okay.
and KvK and then you would do
Another thing. Did you look in that thing yet?
the other thing that you could run for archers would be a 2-2-2 setup where you run
What about your other accounts?
you run the Dragon's Breath chest plate and then
Yeah, because Roger is kind of close, and I'm over here using all my accounts to try and stay away. I'm sorry. I want one, at least one. And I'm close. I woke up this morning, I'm like, why is there so much votes?
Nice. If you're going to go that
I'm at 42 right now, and he's at 40.
The leadership legs and boots. I know historically I've
Alright, thank you.
Leadership legs, gloves. Really, this is a super micro optimization, so they're a long answer. And in the case of
Whatchamacallit? Are you gonna stay in the KvK Lost Land still, or are you gonna go home?
So those instances you probably would with gloves, but just in general, health is a better stat, and so it's probably safer in the long run to do with the leadership legs.
I sent home 2 farm accounts so far, just to clear the slots, gather some resources and shit.
Crazy. So
Yeah, nah, I hate when I go back and people in my spot, and I have to tell them to move, like, but I was thinking the moment I bring my main account back, I'm definitely going for either BG or, yeah, but look, let's saying CHN isn't a threat. Yeah, Because next thing you know, they start building flags. They think it's okay. And did you vote already on that account? Mm. No, it's in the main event. It's in the main events under the hammer. Yeah, you did. Nice. You remember how much you got last KvK? I know I voted for you last KvK. Bought? I have to buy them? Oh, oh. No, I didn't do that yet. All right. I didn't, man, sugar. I'm gonna do it right now. Hold on, let me switch accounts. Switch character. Yeah, switch account. Yeah, you know, that's why I'm trying to get in there. Put my speech in. Who? I mean, he was doing stuff, and he was in alliance chat talking. But I don't know. I don't know who voted for it. Yeah, what happened between me and Nepalese? Nepalese didn't have more deaths than me? I mean, so did I, but at least I was in the past. I'm not fixing the sponge here. You're not? Alright, guess I'll roll another one. That's surprising. I didn't I was mostly open field too. I didn't even notice that I had dead trees. I think yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Cause I was standing in front of the pass one time, a level 7 pass, and I was just reinforcing while I was field fighting. My troops are going back and forth. And once again, this KvK, my calves are down. Like I barely have it calves. I need to train more calves, but I don't like training calves because it make my city garrison weaker. I don't know why. I don't even remember why. I must have I must have joined a few. No, Archer. I was running Archer with Shajar, so I was healing a little bit. But the thing that gets me is like I only joined like 3 city rallies, and aside from that, I don't remember where my calves went. It just ran away. And who the hell is this guy at the door? So what is he migrating? Wait, I'm confused. He's coming here to stay here for a few days or what? Is he in our kingdom or is he from another kingdom? Oh man, I don't trust any of these accounts. It could be freaking Sachalina just changing his name. I need to write down. I already had it written down somewhere. Shit, I wrote down all the ID tags for those BG players because I don't trust none of them. Yeah, yeah, you're right. I just put you on speaker for a second. I need to roll up. Alright, I don't recall you. I don't recall that I remember from I gave you all my book. I only had one book on my phone, so all right, appreciate it. Yeah, sure. I think I have like three more farm accounts I need to vote myself off. All right, later. Later. What's
We're really looking to dip my toes into a six army lineup and left about Majestic Archers.
well, you
I think that's the sweet spot. Line count.
that's with Wales. Six army, three, and I'm good. Six. That's at six. Okay, I missed this. Why not?
When I first watched One Piece and I got to the very first stretch of episodes, the Luffy level part, I didn't think there was anything funny about this. I mean, this was the lowest point our boy has ever been in. See, I was watching Saba Odie and Amazon
No.
Lily, and I was really like, there ain't nothing funny about what's going on right now.
Ace.
So I was still feeling from the boy. But I recently just watched Saba Odie and Amazon Lily, and you know what? I see the light. Saba Odie is funny as hell, and Amazon
yeah.
Lily
No.
is hilarious.
No, Ace was no. Ace was a little bit
all
out
the
there.
funny things that happen in this arc. So check this out. At the end of Sabaudi Archipelago, Luffy and the rest of the Straw Hats were getting maxed out by Kizaru, Setsubara, and Kuma. That all ended with Kuma slapping the Straw Hats so hard they were sent flying for 3 days, 3 nights. It was crazy. Like, Luffy was really flying through the air for 3 days and 3 nights. And he doesn't know Kuma's devil fruit power. From his perspective, he just got slapped so hard, the momentum is carrying him through the air for 3 days and 3 nights. But eventually, Luffy lands on the island of Amazon Lily. We gotta put ourselves in his shoes, alright? He hasn't been by himself since we saw him in that barrel at the start of the story. Luffy needs his crew, not only for emotional support and because they're his best friends, but his crew saved his life countless times, which you would imagine, right? Like they're all sailing the seas, going on adventures together. But no, you don't get it. The Straw Hats are always constantly saving Luffy from perfectly avoidable situations. Every arc, Luffy almost loses his life to a literal Looney Tunes game. Seriously, without his friends, that boy is a danger to himself more than anybody else. As a matter of fact, the very first thing that Luffy does when he gets to Amazon Lily is poison himself. Dumb as hell. He's hungry, and he's remembering how Sanji used to always tell him, like, hey, dude, don't eat things that you literally just find off the ground. But Sanji's not here right now. So when Luffy sees a bunch of magic mushrooms growing in a forest on an island he's never been before, he's like, oh boy, don't mind if I do. And before he knows it, everything goes black. If it weren't for the big women on this island that found him, this idiot really would have just died right here. Imagine how guilty the Straw Hats would feel if they're reading the newspaper and they find out their captain died because he went to an island and ate literally the first thing they saw. They'd be like, well, goddamn it, that makes sense.
But yeah, they're like, damn. It's just Luffy would have died.
Nigga dropped the hardest niggas in that fucking
She died. Listen to Luffy after all hearing all this shit. Nigga almost died to the shit. Some mushrooms.
so awesome, bro. God damn it, Luffy.
Actually, listen,
He's my camp.
The blackout just enough noise for you to enjoy the music, but not
He's a
enough.
retard, but he's Martin.
What's cool about Raycon is the charging case had over 36 hours of battery life and over 8 hours of playtime. It's the entire
It's really I never really looked at it like that. Think of this walking danger to himself.
grocery store pickup for lunch.
Oh my god.
If we ever have to charge up a single earphone. Raycon be really good listening.
It's cool and just his babysitters.
Every one of them keeping them in their lives, one way or another.
But that was Johnny. Like,
Sorrow.
like,
Slapping the shit out of him.
tried to something.
This fucking be a little different than this.
So whether you're out in a loud crowd or just
I'm surprised I can't kill his man.
comfortable earbuds. So if all of this sounds interesting to you and you want to give Raycon a chance, please check out the link in the description of this video or head on over to buyraycon.com/moviewateropen to get 15% off your Raycon order right now. A very special thank you to Raycon for sponsoring this video, and an equal special thank
Wait a minute. Please, no. Who's the first person on the crew to unlock hockey?
out and dime as a bunch of women show up
Huh?
to see if they
What,
can
hockey?
prefer to
Hockey?
protect.
No, hockey period. Because remember, every time she hit Luffy, that shit hurt him when she got mad.
Make sure. Yeah, mushrooms.
So wouldn't that make her the first person on the crew to have hockey?
No.
So get this.
So because remember, normal hits don't hurt.
What the type of hockey we're talking? Luffy hitting you in hockey. What do you mean, bro?
No. He didn't have his first time in hockey until
Of course they start
you know,
died.
this is Animal that he ran into, and he's just like, niggas hype the fuck up. And that's his first time in hockey. But Nami, tighten your ass up, nigga. Like, remember when Garp first hit him, and Luffy was like, how come that hurt? That's because Garp was using hockey then.
Yeah, but Luffy was already fighting.
We have technology.
Yeah, but he never, like, showed hockey until, like, that one anime.
Oh, hockey in that fire,
you guys do
when that fire thing was going on, and he
she also tells them
I shouted when the big fire was going on
between her legs.
in the garbage place.
They're like, what? Oh no! So they put Luffy behind.
No, I'm talking about even before that. It was way early on. That's why, like,
woman just staring at him like
fucking that East Blue.
Luffy wakes up. And
He was just showing him. No, that was his first time showing hockey. Like, his animal tried to roll up on him, and he hit him with that hook. And the animal tightened the fuck up real quick. That was his first time playing hockey. Way back when.
In front of the Amazon, like, brother, please read the brief.
But Nami, I guess, will be the first time now because she slapped the shit out of that nigga. It hurts.
It's like, whoa, hang on, what did I do? So now they're trying to kill him for some reason. So he breaks out of jail and just starts terrorizing the rest of Amazon Lily. Thank God they at least gave him some clothes. Can you imagine? You've never seen a man before, and the first man you've ever seen is a naked maniac running through the city shaking his dick and balls at everybody? I mean, my God. So they run around chasing Luffy all over town like it's an episode of Scooby-Doo, but Luffy doesn't know where to go. He doesn't have a destination in mind. He's just running. And as he's running, he thinks to himself, hey, I know. I'll do the thing I always do when I go to a new island. I'll kidnap the princess. So Luffy grabs onto the Amazon woman.
Nah.
Jungle like he's King Kong. So he gets into the jungle with the Amazon woman that he's kidnapped, and he finds out that it was actually her who found him when he was tripping dick on magic mushrooms. Once Luffy realizes that this woman actually saved his life, he feels obligated to remember her name, and she introduces herself as Margaret. And this is when Luffy finally gets to have an actual conversation with someone. He tells Margaret about his friends, and how he just wants to find a way to get back to them. She's moved and somewhat convinced that he might be a good guy, and she even gave him back Rayleigh's Vivre card that was in his shorts. So now that Luffy has Rayleigh's Vivre card back, he thinks that he's all set now that he at least knows what direction he needs to be going. So he thanks Margaret and runs through the woods until he finally gets to the shores of Amazon Lily. So this dumbass gets a bunch of logs and ties them together to make his own boat, and to no one's surprise, he gets on the logs and immediately sinks into the sea. That boy is dumb. Luckily, Margaret was right there when he fell in, so she pulls him out. Margaret tells Luffy that she is the
Right.
Kill him.
Dumbass. That's where Frankie would have saved him right there.
That's when one of the big women tells Marguerite that they need to
You can't swim on that. That's not gonna last.
Princess Hope Hancock has just made it back to Amazon Lily. Netflix for Luffy. You see, the reason he wasn't getting anywhere when he kidnapped Marguerite is because she wasn't a princess. It's like, oh yeah, okay, that's right. If I want to make it off this island, I gotta kidnap a real princess. So now that Luffy knows there is in fact a princess on this island, he runs back to the village to go and kidnap her. Only problem is, once he gets back there, he doesn't know where Boa Hancock is, alright? That's when he gets another bright idea. He's like, okay,
If I was a snake princess, where would I be? Ah, that's it. I'd be in the biggest house here. So he finds the building in Amazon building and jumps to the roof. And I want to call him stupid, but like he's right, so whatever. He crashes through the roof and he ends up in water again. But this isn't seawater, it's bath water. So now this lunatic has managed to break into the leader of Amazon's house while she's bathing. If I was them, I would think this guy has to be stopped too. And that's what Boa tries to do. She goes to use her devil fruit powers immediately. She doesn't know who this guy is, but he broke into her bathroom while she's bathing, so he's gotta die. Luffy's like, oh damn, my bad, but she's not listening. She's like, you filthy man, take this, metal, metal, metal. But nothing happens, but she freaks Boa out. She's like, what? That's impossible. Could this mean this man isn't attracted to me, even though I'm standing in front of him naked? And her girls are like,
That's savage. Nah, Luffy's a savage, bro. Nah, Luffy's true G. Shit, you naked. I don't give a fuck. Trying to be king of the flowers in this bitch.
entire island is just savage. Shut your balls off. They all surround him and tie him up, bring him right back to Boa Hancock. So the Snake Princess asks Luffy why he's here on Amazon Lily, and he tells her that he has no idea, which
Hancock
obviously is a good enough response to the situation. So Hancock just coldly tells Luffy that they're going to execute. So Luffy's toast, but that's when Margaret shows up and starts defending him.
You know who Rebecca is.
I know he's a man. She's got stress balls, but I don't think he's a bad guy. Luffy's like, well, what happened? You heard her. I
Take care. Always in the boat with you.
Why she's defending Luffy, and that's when she drops a bombshell.
What about,
takes full responsibility for Luffy being in the village in the first place.
I would have. I ain't gonna lie. I would vote on BB hard. Well, no. I can't wait to see live action, but if Vicky looking that big, oh my god! Well, I better be the baddest bitch in the live action.
She's gonna have to kill. And now Margaret is defending this degenerate. That doesn't sit well with Boa at all. So she gets up off her throne and uses her devil fruit powers to turn Margaret.
I think Demon's probably the baddest in the show.
To stone. So Luffy sees that and he begs the Snake Princess to spare Margaret and the others. After all, he still owes all of it for saving his life from the mushroom. Boa Hancock isn't listening. She's got a heart of ice. The first thing she did when she entered this story is kick a
top 3 in the show. I would go with BB, Boa, and Nami.
Is ridiculous, but she did it. That's the first thing she did.
I guess my top 3 in the show would be BB, Boa, and Nami.
Big ass cats. They send the cat to eat Luffy, and he just starts swinging. Cannot stress this. He does not know what the fuck is going on.
Robin, Nami.
He hasn't been listening to them this whole time. All he understands is that the people that saved his life are turned to stone, and apparently the Snake Princess isn't interested in being kidnapped. So Luffy's like, whatever, I'll fight as long as it helps Margaret and the others are free. So the cat attacks Luffy, but he puts it down immediately, and then he keeps asking Boa Hancock to save Margaret and the others. But Hancock's not listening to a single thing he's saying. She just keeps going on about how she's the baddest in all the land, and Luffy should be her slave, and Luffy's like, will you knock it off? Goddamn, I'm not Sanji. So after that, Boa's sisters the drones meet Luffy in the ring, and they said that now he's got to fight them. And then they both turn into snakes. Luffy is so confused, but he just starts swinging. But the snake ladies are no pushovers, and for some reason Luffy's attacks are bouncing right off of him like that Sentomaru dude back at Sabaody. But they keep fighting, and the snake women keep beating him up, and they even throw him in a spike pit. But the weirdest part about all of this is that everybody in the audience is loudly cheering Boa Hancock's name, and I mean just going crazy. They're cheering like they're at a Michael Jackson concert. Everybody had hard eyes before even facing. They got to kill me here. Why is everybody so horny? And that's when the Snake Princess started moaning. She's like, yeah. Luffy's like, why are you moaning? Luffy keeps trying to fight these snake women, but they get him cornered, and one of the snakes reaches out to Margaret and the other stone statues, and she starts threatening to break them right in front of Luffy, which really pisses him off. He's like, what's wrong with you guys? Like, even if I was a bad guy, why would you do that to her? They're not listening, though. They're about to break the statues and effectively kill the people that saved Luffy's life. After Kuma just bitch slaps his entire crew off the map, right? This creates a very he just shouts as loud as he can for them to knock it off.
Oh, man, there goes
Saki for the first time, which is a really big deal. Boa Hancock realizes this. As a matter of fact, everybody does, except Luffy. He thinks he just shouted really loud, and everybody finally shut up. But once Luffy gets Margaret and the other stone statues out of the splash zone, he's steered to start fighting back against the Snake Sisters. They start to lose, and the Snake Sisters start panicking, and one of them sets her hair on fire, like, fuck it, maybe this will work. And that's when Luffy uses his jet gatling to stop the attack, and because one of them set her hair on fire, now there's fire everywhere. A patch of fire gets on one of the Snake Sisters and starts to roast her. The Snake Lady's shirt starts to get burned off, and this is when Luffy jumps up on her back to make sure that he covers the mark that Luffy knows she doesn't want anyone else to see. Luffy knows this because when he crashed into Boa Hancock's bathroom, she had the same mark on her, and Luffy thinks he's seen it before, but he's not sure. He just understands based on their reaction that they absolutely do not want anyone to see this mark, whatever it is. Again, he doesn't know what the hell is going on, but he doesn't want them to suffer, and it seems like they really are stressing about whatever this mark is. She helps the snake woman cover up the marks so no one sees.
Well, I'll grab it on
Hannah
the chain.
sees this and she's like, all right, that's enough. Seriously, dude, who are you? What do you want? Luffy's like, I keep telling you, all I want is for Margaret and the other big women to return back to normal and a ship so I can reach my friends. So Luffy's really starting to frustrate Boa Hancock. So she decides to hit him with an ultimatum to prove that he's just a low-down, dirty man. She tells Luffy that he can either have a ship to reach his group, or she can save Margaret and the others. And Luffy doesn't hesitate. He's like, oh my god, finally, appreciate you, twin. Go ahead and turn Margaret and the others back to normal. Boa is fucking shocked. I mean, can you blame her for being this jumbled up? Like, yeah, she's been an asshole this entire time. There's no reason for her to kick that kid, and that was crazy. But imagine being her in this situation. Like, you don't even have to add her deep hatred for Ben or factor her backstory in at all. Let's pretend she's just a regular woman in charge of Amazon Lily. You're taking a bath, and then a cracked out maniac breaks through the ceiling of your bathroom while you're taking a bath. So this lunatic doesn't even believe in doors, didn't have the to break into the bathroom a normal way. He came through the ceiling. And this is the first man that has ever been to Amazon Lily. And from your perspective, the first thing he did is jump into your bath with the stretchy balls. Like in that type of situation, it doesn't matter what the context is. You gotta get your ass. But imagine how Ola feels realizing that this same lunatic that broke into her bathroom with the stretchy balls is turning out to be an actual, genuinely good dude that even her own ladies are sticking up for. So Bo's confused, but she's like, all right, fine, here, damn. And she finally turns Margaret and the others back to normal. Once Margaret and the others are safe,
good luck catching me now,
back to her house. He thinks he's about to get something to eat, right? That's what normally happens when he solves some problems on the island that he just goes to. So the Snake Princess calls Luffy into her room, and he opens the curtain and sees that she's naked for some reason. He's like, man, this is a witness. Boa Hancock back says that he knew he saw her.
That's it, man.
Hachi. That's when Boa starts exposing the most tragic backstory Luffy has ever heard. So traumatic, while Boa is telling her story, her sister started having an actual panic attack. It's like, whoa, 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 you guys do not have to tell me any of this. It is none of my business. But Boa tells Luffy everything. She tells him that the marks on their backs, they used to be slaves of the celestial dragons. And that's when old lady Gloriosa comes out like, Boa, you're not going to believe this, but that crazy stretchy bald bastard punched the celestial dragon. Boa hears that, and her opinion on Luffy changes almost immediately. She had this guy all wrong. He's all right. So she's like, you know what? Yeah, fuck it. Where you want to go, you little weirdo? We can leave tomorrow on my ship. So somehow, Luffy's dumbass managed to be the first man to ever set foot on Amazon City. And not even 12 hours later, they basically made him king. Boa throws him a huge banquet, and Luffy gets to eat finally. And he shows the Amazon women how to get down like it's a straw hat party. And everything's going great until the big women start getting handsy with Luffy out of nowhere. They just start grabbing his face and stretching it. And a lot of them keep asking Luffy to show them his balls. Like, you guys are weird. Luffy just lining up just to grope him before he leaves the island. And so he was like, oh, that's less. I'm out of here. And he takes off. Luckily, Margaret is already waiting for him, and they hop across the rooftops like it's a day with 6 slums. She takes him back to old lady Gloriosa's house. There, Luffy can finish eating his food in peace, and this is when Gloriosa finally gets to talk to Luffy. And Gloriosa makes what she thinks is some small talk to Luffy. She just casually lets out that all the warlords are about to head to Marineford, and Luffy's confused. He's like, what are you talking about? What, there's a warlord here? And she's like, hell yeah, that's Boa Hancock. And she's about to head to Marineford to participate in the war with the Whitebeard pirates during Fire Fist Ace's execution. Luffy hears all of that and almost passes out. That was way too much information all at once. He flips out the Viva card that Ace gave him back in Alabasta and sees that his brother really isn't that much trouble. He thinks about it for a second, but that's all it takes. He tells Gloriosa to tell Boa Hancock that he's changed his mind. Instead of going back to his friends at Sabaody, he wants Boa to take him to save his brother. And then Luffy gets ready for what's probably going to be the toughest fight of his life.
Oh, she was the one that dropped all that bomb shit. I didn't even notice.
She's all the time, but now she's blushing and has hard.
Yeah, she's a warlord. Yeah, she's going to the execution tomorrow. Yeah, for your brother. Yeah. Wow.
His crazy adventure on Amazon. Like I said, he's there for less than a day, maybe even less than half a day. And somehow he has made such a big impact on both Boa Hancock and all of the Amazons, despite being the first man that has ever been to Amazon Lily. Like, you know how crazy that is? That's the first man that a lot of them have ever seen.
This man is killing himself right now. Chat must be like, bro.
Boa Hancock did want to knock her for real, because if she did, she would have broke her high heel off in his chest a long time ago. Boa's curiosity is the only thing that saved Luffy's life, and now Luffy has a long-time ally at Boa Hancock. And now they're sailing off to go try to break into ally in prison.
You mean wife?
Yesterday was just a regular Thursday. for Boa Hancock. And then not even in 12 hours, a man with stretchy balls breaks into her house, and now she's breaking into a prison. Like, that's crazy. But Impel Down was always
She can't break into the prison.
I mean, the warden is just a guy that keeps shit in his pants. And like that's it. That's his whole character. Like I have to give it to Oda. That is funny as hell. So can't wait to talk about that. But for now, the
Shit in his
guys, thank you so much for watching.
He was on the toilet.
And I cannot wait to see you.
Yeah, but get it because he's a warden. That's what.
Previously on One Piece is hilarious.
And
Mr.
their
Prince,
pants,
Soga
like,
King, and
under their
Robot
belt.
Boy lead a daring rescue mission
Because they
for
were the
Nico
warden.
Robin.
See, she was 10. It took more than 10.
Fortunately,
Bro, how would I have so many character changes?
School Squad, and in the chaos, Robot Boy is taken hostage as well. Meanwhile, the rest of the Straw Hats
They took her 10. They took her age.
family and a big old
Goddamn, what they gonna take next?
So after that mission fails, Mr.
Not
Prince and
titties.
Soga King regroup with Captain Crackhead and his sleepy swordsman, his money-hungry navigator who refuses to wear clothes, and Dr. Chopper
What?
from New York City. And together they prepare for the fight of their lives at Innie's lobby. Will Captain Crackhead save Nico Robin? Will Frankie ever put on pants? Will Nico Robin find her cowboy hat? Find out this time on One Piece is Hilarious. Oh boy, it is good to be back. And if you haven't seen the previous videos and want a little bit of a preamble before we get into it, don't worry, I got you covered. For starters, Robin was kidnapped by Rob Lucci and the rest of CP9. She agreed to go with them because if she did, they agreed that the world government would just let Luffy and the other Straw Hats go unharmed. So at this point, she still believes that that was the right decision to be made. Like, she really loves these guys. The problem, obviously, is that Robin vastly underestimates the lengths that these maniacs would go to get her back. And also, Soga King is actually Usopp. He crashed out after the Mary got boat cancer and ended up...
Oh my god.
Captains would do it. He's
Bro.
it feels really...
No. Just after the boat got boat cancer.
Don't get wrong. Everyone knows, well, everyone except Luffy and Chopper knows that he's actually Soga King. Adorable for Chopper, hilarious for Luffy. They're both really stupid. But anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, right now, everybody's on the same sea train headed for Indy's lobby. And Soga King is talking to the rest of the Straw Hats as he tells them about what him and Frankie got up to. And how CP9 found him and Frankie with the Mary, and how Rob Lucci and Kaku ended up dropping the already severely damaged Mary from a very high place, making it crash into the ocean. That leopard bitch did what? Saw the whole thing, Luffy. I would have stopped it had I known what that shit meant to you guys. I hate that top hat wearing son of a bitch. Oh my god. Alright, everybody, listen up. As we all know, earlier this arc, we lost a dear member of our crew that also happened to be the place we were living when we were sailing the sea. So since we're all technically homeless, I need everybody to fight even harder than we ever have before. And I also need you guys to fight different. I need everybody bloodthirsty and acting crazy. Like, Sanji, I want you to kick a woman while we're here. Luffy, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to hear it, Sanji. Equal rights, equal fights. If a lady stands between us and Robin, I want you to kick her right in the face. Well, if I have to kick a lady, then I think it's only fair that Zoro has to fight someone that isn't black. That's a good idea, Sanji. All right, Zoro, you gotta have a 1v1 with someone who isn't black. Okay, but I feel like I already do that. Zoro, please, this isn't a debate. I know it's hard for you, but just fight someone who isn't black. Oh my god. You guys are done. Go over an actual plan. Finally, so Paulie goes over the plan and explains that him and the rest of the Frankie family are actually going to make it to least. We have to worry about Rob Lucci and the rest of the
I'm glad Mihawk isn't black. At least his ultimate goal isn't the black
He
nigga.
does not care about anything else. I mean, he definitely wants to get Robin back. But more than that, he wants to find Robert bitch-ass Lucci and teach him a lesson for what he did to the mayor. He's so ready to beat him up that he doesn't even wait for Paulie to finish explaining the plan. Like, he hears Paulie say, Luffy, you can fight Robert, and he did it. He just stopped listening immediately. While everyone is still going over the plan, this lunatic Gum rockets himself out of the train and onto the fence of Innie's lobby. He's the first person on Innie's lobby, and this crazy bastard doesn't waste any time. He runs up to the gate and just starts punching people. I know the Marines were confused. They're on guard duty. It's supposed to be just like a regular day. Like, yeah, you got a couple of high-profile people in here, like there's Cutting Plan, there's Nico Robin. But it's just supposed to be a regular day at the office for these people. So imagine how they would feel just being a Marine at the gates. And all of a sudden, you see a maniac running full speed at the gate. They're like, who is this? What? Hey, whoever you are, slow down. right? You must be going the wrong way. Like, this is a government building. While they're trying to talk to this guy, this maniac just starts punching. Luffy does not waste any time. He is running around causing chaos in Enies lobby, screaming for Rob Lucci to quit hiding and come out to fight him. Speaking of the Marines and their perspective and all this nonsense, I think it's time we introduce the main bad guys of this arc. That's going to be Rob Lucci and the Goon Squad. But also Panda Man Spandam. He's the leader of the entire group of CP9, a dastardly, cowardly bastard. But obviously, as soon as Luffy gets on the island, Spandam is aware of everything he's doing because he's, not being discreet at all. He's just running around punching people. So put yourself in Spandam's shoes, all right? You are sure that there's nothing that's going to come of this, okay? Why would it, all right? These CP9 agents that are under your employ already looked these lunatics, and that was like a day ago. Waiting in the last building of Enies lobby called the Tower of Law. And eventually, you're just going to walk Nico Robin right up to the gates of justice and complete your hard day's work and get whatever reward that you're going to get from all this. But just to be safe, you send Bluno, your big body bartender, to go out there and apprehend the
Embarrassing. I watched this fight so many times.
Yeah, I think it just got one shot.
Hey, aren't you? Oh, thank God, you're here. Okay, listen, can I get a Jack and Coke, some curly fries and nachos, and do you guys have cotton candy? Well, Nami wants a vodka for Red Bull, and Robin probably wants a Moscow Mule, maybe? You're not writing any of this down. You can remember it? Why are you telling me what you want to drink? Because you're the bartender and I haven't eaten yet? Like, why else would you be in my way right now? I'm here to stop you from destroying this island, Mugiwara. Oh, brother, look, will you just tell me where Robert is? I'm tired of beating up fodder brains, all right? Can you please just move? Who the hell do you think you're talking to, little man? You better watch the mouth. I spent the last 6 hours watching season 1 of Dragon Ball Z. What does that mean? Well, I'll show you.
What does that mean?
Maniac that's been terrorizing and he's
This nigga, Ken.
Did you have that this whole time? You suit-wearing assholes think you can do whatever you want and get away with it. But you're about to learn the hard way what happens when you cross someone who has big dreams and a lot of time to watch anime. Get ready for the rubber boy KvK. Hey, quit playing. What is that transformation? What are you about to... Before Pluto can even finish his question, this maniac starts whooping his ass. Bouncing everywhere, knocking him down every single time. True to his word, this lunatic really has learned the KvK. He is getting harder and faster than he ever did. Pluto can do to keep up with him. Bluno is getting dog walks for way too long, honestly, and no one comes to help him. It's hilarious. Meanwhile, Panda Man Spandam is still holding Robin and Frankie hostage in the Tower of Law. He's feeling pretty good about himself. So good, he hasn't even bothered to check his messages in like 30 minutes. Like, he fully assumes the situation is either already taken care of or in the process of being taken care of. So just imagine being Spandam. You're feeling like hot shit, just waiting for the word that the maniac and all of his friends have been taken care of. Once you get word on that, you're going to taunt Nico Robin's for because that makes you really happy for some reason. God, I hate it. Well, while you're thinking about all the shit you're going to talk to Nico Robin, you get a phone call. And since you feel like enough time has passed, you decide to pick up the phone and check the situation outside of the tower. And that's why you ain't ever going to get a man, Nico Robin. Now, hold on a second. I gotta take this. Yes, hello, this is Spandam, the very fresh and very fit Panda Man. Hey, shut up. Shut the fuck up right now. Listen to me. Okay, who is Robert? What? Who the hell is Robert? There's a maniac running around laughing as he destroys the entire island like it's that episode of SpongeBob. He doesn't care. He says if we don't bring Robert out here now, he's gonna sink this whole island. And I believe him. What? He's not already arrested? What are you talking? No! It's so bad out here. Look, let me explain the bullshit we've been going through. Listen, so first of all, a bunch of freaks that look like they live in the sewers showed up for the sewers. They started dancing and fighting everybody. We get out the giants, Boimo and Hashi, and they start beating up the sewer people, right? Then we managed to close the gates so the rest of those lunatics couldn't get in. But then, we see the second train being driven by an alcoholic fish woman, and on top, there's a big-ass frog riding on the front of the train. So we see her drunk driving ass, and Big Frog are getting closer to the gates, and they just run right into them, jumping like it's a ramp in Mario Kart. So now there's a train flying through the air with a kung fu fighting frog on top, right? The train hits one of the giants into the ground. It takes him out of the fight. And the sewer people beat up the other giant. So then the lunatics, the sewer people, and the kung fu fighting frog pop out and just start whooping everybody's ass. Kung fu fighting frog. Sir, please, look, you don't, just shut up and let me finish, all right? The lunatics and the sewer people start riding this big-ass seahorse. No idea where they came from. Just riding them on solid land like that. Like, there goes everything I thought I knew about seahorses. We shoot a bunch of cannons at them to slow them down. But then, the giants that were on our side see all those crazy people beating everybody up, and they go, you know what? I like how you fight, crackheads. We want to get in on it too. So they get up and then they start fighting us. It's like the ass whooping they got gave them clarity. I've never seen anything like it. They got up and immediately decided they were going to fight with the rest of these maniacs. So now there's at least half a dozen lunatics that definitely need to fight for real. At least 100 dancing sewer people. A few shipwrights from Water 7 for some reason. A kung fu fighting frog. An alcoholic fish woman. 2 giants that decided they hate us for some reason. A crazy unhinged lunatic that's screaming Robert at the top of his lungs. And on top of all that, the king of snipers, Suga King from Sniper Island, is here too. King of snipers? Sir, please, we need leadership. Like, I don't know who. Lunatics have him. He can't. So Spandam is freaking out. He quickly goes everything he's heard from that phone call was true. And sure enough, and he's not.
Sir, please, we need leadership. Listen around the kingdom shit. Sir, please, we need leadership. Imagine losing KvK and niggas say that shit. Sir, please, we need leadership.
Eric Williamson. Fish him up.
That's for you doing this. Sir, please. We need leadership on this.
No way he's this strong. Did he really travel the entire distance and meet King Kong?
Oh, God.
Happened on that train. You know what? It doesn't matter. I'll just sneak up behind him. Find out from
Damn.
turn his ass into a door. That's okay. 1, 2. I still don't see any drinks in your hand. What's up? Please just tell me what that transformation is, man. I'm going to transformation gear 2. Now, are you going to get Robert, or do I have to keep showing you how this is basically just a KvK? So Bluto's in a tough spot right now. He can't touch Luffy at all. But at least now he knows that it's not the real KvK. I think that would have actually been enough to push him over the edge. So Luffy goes to hit Bluto with one of his strongest attacks. Bluto hears him say, Gomu Gomu no Jet Bazooka. And Bluto gets ready for the impact. He uses the Iron Body technique. Bluto has decided to just try to tank the attack. Well, it's not really a decision, because he literally can't whooping his ass for like a solid 15, maybe even 30 minutes at this point. So he can't get out of the way. He's just decided, like, listen, come with me, Iron Body. So this maniac hits Bluto with a Jet Bazooka, and Bluto takes it like a champ. So this unhinged crazy crackhead says, wow, you're still standing. That's pretty impressive. I would have thought for sure you went down after that. And he's like, guess I gotta do this. And he sticks his finger in his mouth and he says, Gear 3. Bluto hears him say that and just says, oh, hell. And he right there. Bluto, he does not care. That could have been a bluff. It doesn't matter. Like, Gear 2 whooped Bluto's ass for almost 30 full minutes. He had absolutely no desire to find out whatever the hell Gear 3 was. So Bluto was the first member of P9 to get dropped on the running. So
Gear 3 now.
was watching this from the window in the Tower of Law. He watches Bluto get his ass whooped until he finally gets knocked out, and then he sees the maniac that beat him up scream pocket meat as he pulls out 2 turkey legs from his cargo pants and just starts munching down like a feral animal over Bluto's unconscious body, which is terrifying. Like, imagine a crazy homeless person
Minion.
do your job, beat up your coworker,
Minion.
pulled out a McChicken and just started ravenously eating the sandwich over your friend's body. And this is all right outside Spandam's window, so he's like, oh, hell no, I need everybody to get back here right now. Where is Rob? So Rob Lucci and the Goon Squad pull up and stare down the maniac while Spandam cowers behind them. While they're staring at each other, Spandam watches as one by one the rest of the Straw Hats break through the ceiling and regroup with their captain until eventually, like a shooting star, Soga King, the king of snipers, appears on the roof as well. And that's when Spandam realized everything, literally everything he heard on that phone call was true. Robert! You think you can escape me? I'll chase you to the ends of the earth! Just get out of here, Luffy. Don't do this. Sorry, Robert, but they dropped the Mary into the ocean. It's up. Silence gotta get blown up, and Puss in Boots gotta get his ass whooped. That's just how it is. You better listen to her, Mugiwara. This here snail could call in a buster call, and then hundreds of Marines will show up to erase you and this entire island. Every country that's united under this flag will make you an enemy. My God, I don't care. Soga King, shoot down that flag. I'm tired of hearing him talk. Soga King uses his new attack, Firebird Star, and shoots right through the world government flag. These lunatics that have been crashing out all over the island have now officially declared war on the entire world government, which again, rightfully terrifies Spandam. He literally threatens, Robin, I can't wait to get my hands on Robert! Stop running! Robin thinks about everything that Luffy said and also remembers a promise that her friend made to her a long time ago. He promised her that the sea is vast and one day she would find a group of lovable idiots that she could call family. This life is hard, but no one is born to be alone. Until now, Robin considered that promise little more than a comforting lie to help her keep living. But as she looks out from the edge, Robin finally sees the Straw Hats as what they've always been to her. A family that would literally rather sink the entire world than say goodbye to one of their own. Now finally accepting her found family, Robin screams to them, all right, you win. I don't want to die. I do want to live. Get me the fuck out of here. So Spandam starts to lose it. Everything is going wrong. These lunatics shouldn't even be here, much less have made it this long. So Spandam orders the Marines to break half the bridge so that these lunatics cannot progress any further. But then something else terrible happens, okay? You got Nico, Robin, and Frankie. The reason that Nico Robin is here is because she's the demon child and we're the only people that can read the comic list. The reason that Frankie is being held hostage is because he has the blueprints for Pluton, or at least knows where they are. This entire time you've been trying to get him to tell you where the blueprints are. So imagine Spandam's shock when, in the middle of this heated moment where the Straw Hats are shouting how much they love each other, Frankie pulls the blueprints to Pluton out of his abs and then just sets them on fire right in front of him. Those blueprints were arguably the most important thing to him to bring back to Marine headquarters. And this weirdo that does not wear pants has just set it on fire right in front of you. You were so fired. So Spandam sees that and he gets pissed. He immediately just pushes Frankie off the edge. He lets him fall to the sea, much like how Lucy did to the mirror. But as Frankie's falling, Kokoro, the alcoholic fish woman that's drunk driving the sea train on solid land, crashes into the broken half of the bridge and runs right into Frankie, saving him from certain death. And while she's flying to the tower in the sea train, the maniac grabs the rest of his friends and jumps down to the train as it's entering the tower. Those crazy, unhinged lunatics are now in the same building Spandam is. So he set CP9 on all of them. He's like, I don't care what you do, just keep them away from me. And it's revealed that the Straw Hats need to get all 5 keys for each CP9 member so that they can use each one of them on the Sea Prism Stone handcuffs that Robin is in right now. So a mad dash to save Robin is about to begin, and Spandam is, again, very worried, very scared, he's hurriedly going to the gates of justice with Rob Lucci and Nico Robin. Meanwhile, the Straw Hats are collecting themselves and about to figure out what their plan going forward is. Oh, you drunk old hag, why did you do it? You came all this way for me. I told you to stop drunk driving or you were going to get a DUI. Now look at you. Oh, Kokoro, why? Why? Oh, all right. Okay. Ah! Where are you, Robert? This is when a CP9 member comes out. We're just going to call him Zippermouth. I don't remember his name. I don't care. I forgot to be honest. But Zippermouth informs them that they need to get the 5, telling the truth and helping the heroes progress further on their quest. And Luffy's like, shut the fuck. Where is Robert? He gets so tired, he switches to him before he's done telling them what they need to do to get out of here. Zippermouth realizes he said too much. Probably should just get the hell out of here, so he takes off. So the Straw Hats split up. Each of them go off to handle their own CP9 agents, while Luffy heads straight towards Rob Lucci. And almost immediately as they all split up, Zoro runs into Kaku, and KvK runs into Jabra, and Sanji actually runs into Khalifa, the hot secretary that's a nightmare for HR. And when Sanji gets the chance to fight Khalifa, he of course does not lay a finger on him. She beats him up real bad, soaks him down, throws his ass down a flight of stairs. Chopper and Nami find him, and he's all soaked up and apologizes.
This nigga useless.
Nami's like, whatever, like, we all knew you weren't going to fight over that. Just let me handle Legally Blonde over there, and you I don't know what the hell even, what is wrong with you right now? Look like he does look pretty funny. What's hilarious is they straight up just leave him. Like, even Chopper. They're on a time like they have to go, I get it, but it's just so funny. They see Sanji apologizing after a woman beat him up and threw him.
He was useless.
It's like, I hope you figure it out, dude. You gotta save Robin.
Oh.
Nami heads up the stairs to deal with Khalifa. Chopper keeps running.
See how useless he was early on this.
Meanwhile, King and
He's supposed to be the third strongest on the crew.
So Zoro's dumbass comes crashing through the ceiling of the room they were in, and with him is a giraffe for some reason. I know King was confused, but before he can even collect himself and figure out what's going on, the giraffe tries to kick him. Zoro reacts immediately, tackling King and saving him from danger. And this is when one of the funniest things in the world happens. Okay, you see, earlier, King found a pair of Sea Prism Stone handcuffs, and he's just been carrying them around, hoping to get a chance to use them. They're the same type of cuffs that Robin is in right now, and the only way to get out of them is with the correct key, right? We went over this. This is the whole situation that they're in right now to save Robin. So, when Zoro tackles King, he looks down and realizes that he's now handcuffed to King with those same Sea Prism Stone handcuffs that only get unlocked if you have the right key. Which is so funny because Zoro was confused. It's like, why the Why do you even have these? Chopper like, damn, it's crazy. And they keep attacking Zoro and Soga King. This is when Chopper's innocent ass comes running into the room, and all he sees is Zoro and Soga King handcuffed together. Person and a trap person. And he's confused, but he immediately just starts running with them. Like, hey guys, what's going on? And so they're like, Chopper, will you please just get out of here, all right? This isn't a game. Please find some keys. We are in serious danger. So now the situation is, we need to find all the keys.
How stupid all this shit was.
As well as Zoro and
So I don't know these things.
Keep walking around with these things.
And now Zoro and the King of Snipers is being chased.
But I remember, I remember the bullshit he made with one of his swords.
So Chopper keeps running into the tower to find more keys. God bless his heart. And he keeps running until he runs into Frankie getting his ass beat by the zipper mouth guy from CP9. Frankie tells Chopper that he's only losing because he ran out of cola earlier. And if he can just reach into the fridge and throw him some more cola, he should be able to wrap this up really quick. So Chopper reaches into the fridge and tosses Frankie a bottle. Now what's
Sleeping.
I am so full.
Chopper, I don't know if Chopper has even seen cola.
I hope they bring that
He
nigga
just
back.
throws the first bottle that he finds. But it's funny because Frankie grabs the vegetable oil, puts it in his abs, and then he says, vegetable punch. And it's a really lackluster punch. Like, Zippermouth doesn't even feel it, and he just punches Frankie again. So after the Zippermouth guy punches him, Frankie's pissed. He's like, no, I said cola. This is vegetable oil. Get stupid. Another punch. This time, make sure it's cola. And again, Chopper's innocent ass reaches into the fridge and throws Frankie in a spot. And it's still not cola. This time it's tea. What's hilarious to me is that Frankie doesn't read the bottles as Chopper throws them. Like, he doesn't see how this gag is ultimately on him. Like, Chopper, I don't know if Chopper knows what cola is. He's dead ass just a kid reaching into the fridge and throwing shit at a robot. He doesn't know what's going on. But Frankie opens his abs and puts the tea in, and it turns him all introspective. He's like, the inner machinations of my mind are reckoning. But needless to say, Frankie's pissed and frustrated. He's like, please, little raccoon person, please just throw me cola. So Chopper reaches into the fridge for a third time and finally pulls out cola for real. Another funny thing about this whole thing is the whole time that Chopper's pulling things out of the fridge, the yo-yo guy.
The yo-yo guy.
My nigga. Yo-yo.
Don't like any of these people, but he's in the fridge. I don't know, like, I think one of them trapped him in there. Deadass, I don't know. Like, he's just straight up just, like, taking a break inside the fridge. I don't know. I really don't. But if he just opens the door, he's there. Every time he closes it, he's still there. It's really funny. But anyway, yeah, Chopper finally throws Frankie cola, and he refuses. His theme song starts playing in his head, and he prepares to walk down Zipperface. Frankie strong hammers Zipperface right out of the building, and now Zipperface is a little bit scared, because Frankie actually has hands in. So he starts to run away with his key to make sure the straw hats don't get him. Frankie takes off after him, following him outside, and he beats him up as soon as he catches up to him. Frankie takes the key and makes his way back to where he left Chopper. And when Frankie gets back to where he left Chopper and that Yayoi guy, he instead finds a giant monster who has just murdered the other CP9 agent in the other CP9 agent.
That's what happened.
Murder.
So Frankie starts climbing the tower as well. I'm just fighting Collie Button, which must have been the most confusing fight.
You ain't right. Stop stepping off the map.
Chopper starts fighting Collie Button a little bit. Like, I know he's confused.
Bro, that's so stupid.
Throws it out of the room. But during the chaos,
I told you this thing was terrifying.
tempo on Collie Button.
Y'all niggas be thinking Chopper's sweet, bro. No, he is not. That nigga's a monster.
Chopper
Murdered the son of
the plan to get in the door. Just remember.
No.
Get the keys to Robin, so she.
My God, he got done the dirtiest of everybody there.
So now the Straw Hats 3 fights and got 3 keys. So now we can go back to Span and she's back to Miss walking Nico Robin to the gates of justice with Guardians. And that's when all 3 of them hear the maniac of Innie's lobby scream Robert at the top of his lungs. He has exploders. So Lucci's like, alright, that's enough. Just get Robin at the gates of justice and I'll go take care of this lunatic. So Lucci goes back to stop Luffy and Spandam keeps walking Robin further into the Tower of Law. And Spandam is panicking. He's panicking so much that he goes to call for help and doesn't even realize that he actually used the golden the Dindin Mushi, which doesn't communicate with anyone but a marine fleet that will come to his location and erase Innie's lobby. Spandam's dumbass has just ordered a buster call on Innie's lobby. So now, among all of the other nonsense the Straw Hats have to deal with, they're now on a time limit before the entirety of Innie's lobby is destroyed. What's worse is, Spandam's dumbass pulls out the correct Dindin Mushi after he already pulled out the wrong one. He pulls out the right Dindin Mushi that can communicate with the entire island and just starts talking into that. I don't know. I can't even explain like why or how this happened. So he pulls out the old Dindin Mushi first, talks into it, summons the buster call, right? Then he pulls out the regular Dindin Mushi, and this is when he is just talking to Robin still. Like he's doing his whole like, yeah, I'm a high value man. That's why I ordered the buster call on Annie's lobby. So he's literally just telling the entire island, I am the reason that if you guys stay here, you're definitely gonna die. This whole island's not gonna be here in a second. So now every Marine and pirate on Innie's lobby knows that in a little while, they're all gonna die if they don't get out of here. Chaos erupts. Hundreds of Marines just start abandoning their posts and running for their lives. And because the entire island heard him, that means that Luffy heard him too. Better get out of here, Bird. I don't want you to have to see what I'm about to do to your friend. Made it farther than I thought, but this is yaw! You can at least let me finish my sentence. I don't got nothing to say to you. You was a silent protagonist, Water 7. Keep that same energy. We don't have anything to talk about. Especially after what you did to the mayor. You're still mad because of that stupid boat? Why? It was a piece of trash. I think
He was saying
might be the
mayor.
first person
Mary.
I just straight up word. Like, I don't think an ass whooping is gonna cut it for you, Robert. You need to be. That's until they get the key they need. So making his bait to lure them in and attack. It's tough though, because Zoro has to fight both Kaku and Chopper while he's handcuffed to an idiot. While they're fighting in the funniest way possible, Monster Chopper bursts into their room.
Oh my god.
Chopper, we just told you to go get keys. How did you turn yourself into a monster? That's when Nami and Frankie appear.
Oh my god.
As well, and Frankie blasts Monster Chopper with a coup de vent, sends it flying through the wall and into the sea, and Frankie jumps in after. And Nami gives Zoro and Sogeking the keys she took from Khalifa and frees them both from the handcuffs. Frankie, meanwhile, pulls Chopper out of the water and leaves him with Granny Kokoro as he begins heading down to the gates of justice to give Luffy some backup and save Robin. So now that Zoro's free, he can finally fight with his full strength. But unfortunately, it's a 2v1. Chopper is still in the fight, and he starts whooping Sogeking's ass right in front of Nami and Zoro. And it looks really bad. Chopper is about to actually kill Sogeking, and he would have too if Mr. Prince didn't swoop in and make the save. Finally, Sanji has washed all of the soap off his body and can move again, which means he's ready to back up Zoro, finally making this a fair fight. Nice Zoro! Thanks for the help, son. Yeah, I guess I really am useless. Sogeking, it's good to see you. What are you doing down here? Don't forget, we still have a mission. Save Robin, Schwan, no matter what. We didn't get Robin back on the train. We probably only failed that mission because I'm not a real fighter. You don't need to be a fighter. You're the king of snipers. Look, Sogeking, I don't know how many field missions you've been on, but you're not supposed to stack agents with the same skill sets on missions. I'll do what you can't do. You do what I can't do. So, as long as you're on our side, I know we can save you. Exactly what I was thinking, Mr. Prince. Come, naked thief. We must save the day. So Nami and Sogeking take off to save Robin, and Sanji starts fighting Chopper. And the contrast between Kaku versus Zoro is staggering. Sanji is dog-walking Chopper. So Chopper has to find another way around this ass whooping. He can't fight Sanji straight up. And you really are strong. Thank God it was you who I fought. Here, take the key. Why, please, go save Robin. It's what I really wanted all along, you see. Because me and Robin are actually brother and sister. What? That's right. Oh, it's a terrible story. A horrible, sad, sad story, but also like heartwarming and uplifting too, because we love each other so much. And all I wanted was to meet the right person. A strong person. Stronger than me. Someone who might just be able to save my sister. Please, Mr. Kickman. Take this key and save my sister. Oh my God, I had no idea. Thank you. Okay, wow, I'll definitely take this key. After I send you to a pet cemetery. Ah, what the? Oh my God. You think I'm dumb enough to believe that Robin is related to your ugly ass? How do you know we're not related? We could have been separated at a young age and went down different paths in life. I just told you how I know. You're ugly, and you smell bad, and you have fleas. Why do you have fleas? It's a lot of animals in this tower. We don't know who brought the fleas. It wasn't me, but that's not the point. So you don't bathe. You're ugly, smelly, and stupid, and you want me to believe that you and Robin have anything in common? See, this is the shit that makes me mad. Y'all almost makes me think I'm soft because I won't ever put my hands on a lady. But let me ask you something, Jabra. Do you see any ladies around here? What? Answer the question, wolf boy. Do you see any ladies around us right now? No, I don't. Then why are you treating me like I'm stupid, as if I have any reason to restrain myself? Sanji lets the anger fire him up, as he does a new move called Diablo Jumping and kicks Wolf Boy straight to him. So another CP9 agent bites the dust. So let's go back to Luffy's perspective for a second. You see him and Luffy
I feel so bad for my nigga Yayoi. He deserved to go down like that.
At all. This rabbit lunatic is throwing he even tries to fight Luffy.
Oh my
It's
god.
crazy. This is when
Murder.
Frankie finally
He
runs
didn't
into
even show the
Luffy.
fight.
Hilariously, Luffy's like, I don't know what you want. Please get in line. I will beat you up after I'm done with Robin. All right. Frankie's like, what? No, we're on the same side, idiot. I'm here to help you beat him up so we can go save Robin. And Luffy's so funny. He doesn't care at all. He's just like, I still kind of want to beat you up for what you did to us. So, but if you really want to help, then just go help Robin. I'm beating this guy up. Frank is confused. He's like, are you sure? Like, it looks like you're barely holding your own. Which was true at this point. Like, right now in the story, it looks like Luffy is not keeping up with Lucci. Luffy tells him again, just go on ahead. Frankie doesn't listen. Frankie tries to punch Lucci, and it doesn't do anything. This is when Lucci punches Frankie a bunch of times in the stomach. And so just imagine being Lucci, alright? You're feeling yourself. You're talking all that good shit to both Frankie and Luffy. And in the middle of talking all that good shit, the maniac of Enies Lobby jet pistols you right in the face, like just steals one off on you. You didn't know he could hit that hard or that fast. Luffy again tells Frankie to just go on ahead, trust him, he's got it. Lucci transforms and goes to attack Frankie again, and Luffy slaps him down again with a jet whip. Lucci is so confused, like he really does have the Kaioken. Okay, what the hell? Why are you fighting so hard? In Water 7, you went down after I hit you once in this form. Yes, that was yesterday. I'm a whole different person. So as Luffy and Lucci continue one of the greatest fights in all of One Piece, Zoro is fighting Kaku, who keeps saying this is the true power of giraffes. Zoro's like, okay, I don't know much about giraffes, or really anything about giraffes, but I don't think they do any of the shit that you'll do. Like, you feel like you're just making things up as you go along. And Kaku's like, what? Of course not. I'm ready for my finishing move. Pasta machine. And it was at that moment when Zoro heard Kaku say pasta machine, that was the name of his finishing move. Zoro was like, okay, how am I supposed to fight this guy? He is horribly confused. So Zoro's backed into a corner, and he starts to think what he can do to turn the tables in this situation. Damn it. All right, let's see. What is this guy's weakness? I'm going to lose if I don't figure it out. Come on. We think, okay. It's a giraffe. Okay, yeah, I think so. When's the last time you saw a giraffe? It was in The Lion King. All right, great. Okay, so The Lion King. The Lion King is in the savannah, which is in...
Nah!
Was
Nah!
He doesn't know what's going on.
No!
He knows that he has to fight for him now. It's
South Africa.
Say less.
Kashima's so it hits Kaku so hard and knocks him out of his giraffe form. And right before Kaku passes out, one of the other things you think is, did he have that transformation this whole time? Zoro tells Kaku that Paulie says that he's fired, and Kaku gives Zoro the last key. So now all of Super 9 has been defeated except for their leopard leader, Robert Lucifer. Meanwhile, Spandam and Nico Robin are almost to the gates of justice. And just imagine being Spandam after everything that you've been through. You are almost home free, almost to the gates of justice. And right before you get there, you can have your face blown off, which creates just enough of a distraction for Nico Robin to get away from you. You look up to see where the hell that shot came from, and you see a masked maniac standing at the top of the tower singing his own theme song. So Spandam orders the Marines to shoot Nico Robin, and that's when Frankie shows up too. Frankie, the last time you saw him, you pushed him off the edge of the tower, so you're like, how the hell are you here? Frankie uses the keys they took from the CP9 agents and finally frees Robin from her handcuffs. Frankie and Robin start whooping everybody's ass on the bridge. Meanwhile, the Buster Call has finally reached Kenny's lobby and starts hurling cannonballs all over the island, destroying everything in sight. Which means the other Straw Hats are in danger as the entire tower starts to flood. But luckily, Kokoro, the drunk driving train operator, is actually a drunk driving train operating Yorkbank person. She saves all the Straw Hats and takes them to a ship where they can finally reunite with Robin and Frankie. And thanks to the Giants, the Soga King recruited all of
He didn't talk about how Sanji
So now the Straw Hats are closer to victory than ever.
this first
The only
mermaid.
thing that's left is Luffy beating Rob Lucci and making it back to his friends so they can all escape. Heading back over to Lucci, he's still confused, and he's talking to Luffy to try to figure out what the hell is going on. Okay, seriously, what is that transformation? How are you so much stronger? Told you it's the Kaioken. Shut up! That is not the Kaioken. In fact, I think I figured it out. Pumping blood faster and increasing your blood pressure to move faster and hit harder, which is only possible because you're made of rubber. Well, yeah, I guess if you want to be a nerd about it, but like I said,
You want to be a nerd about it.
Take note that. Keep that. Just like the Kaioken. That is not the continues. And as much as Lucci knocks him down, Luffy keeps getting back up. I know Lucci is tired. Like, he thought this was just going to be a light, chill day at the office. Like, he was finally going to be allowed to return home after being undercover for all those years.
Yeah, heard about
Celebrating not fighting a crackhead and the exhaustion that comes from fighting a crackhead. But Luffy keeps hanging with him, so Lucci decides to hit him with a bunch of finger pistols. But when the smoke clears, Lucci hears this maniac say, "Gear third." Lucci's like, "What? No, stop. Right now, stop. You have another transformation, stop it." Now imagine you, Robert, bitch-ass Lucci. You have put up with all of this nonsense up until now. Then you see the maniac that's been terrorizing any Slavi stick his thumb in his mouth and blow into it like it's a balloon. Then he punches you with the biggest fist you have ever. Oh, this idiot is mixing real anime moves with cartoon logic. He hits you hard as shit, too. You go flying into one of the marine ships that's destroying Indy's lobby. He hits you so hard you have a flash. You have to remember everything you were fighting for just to deal with this lunatic. And the funniest thing is, he doesn't even wait for your flashback to end. He leaps out of the tower and just starts kicking boats with his big-ass foot. So you two start fighting on the ships a little bit, until suddenly the crackhead that's been fighting you for almost 2.5 hours turns into a little kid. You have no idea what's going on. He just runs back into the tower. Doesn't explain anything. He just skedaddles. So yeah, you have no idea what's going on, but you know you can't let this lunatic go or else it's going to come back with another transformation. You have no desire to see what you're so you better keep going after. You hear that he's a kid right now. You still keep whooping his ass. You go to finish him off, but the punch that he gave you earlier actually did a lot of damage. And you've really been beating this maniac up for a good 3 hours at this point. Like, no Gatorade, no bathroom breaks, nothing. Just 180 minutes of fighting a wacky crackhead that refuses to take anything seriously. I know Lucci is tired, because it went from a somewhat one-sided beatdown to a street fight to the death on an exploding island. So yeah, as Lucci, you are tired of it. You use your strongest attack, the 6-King gun. It knocks the wind out of him, but like only for a couple seconds. He gets back up immediately. You're like, man, come on. Meanwhile, his friends show up and start shouting at him that they freed Robin already and he should go ahead and beat you so they can all leave. You're like, they did what? The island isn't even here anymore. How did they get to Robin? Is my whole team dead? What's been happening while I've been fighting this lunatic? With new energy, the crackhead is on Lucci's ass. Lucci hits him with another 6-King gun. And again, he gets back up immediately. Lucci's like, what the f- Stay down! But it looks like this time it was a bluff. All that damage finally catches up to Luffy, and he collapses in front of Robert. So put yourself in Robert's shoes, okay? It is finally over. You outlasted the craziest son of a bitch in the East Blue. Literally no one else has managed to do that until now. It's over. It is finally over. You turn your attention to the bridge and see that the rest of the Marines have finally made it. They've got the rest of the Straw Hats surrounded. So thankfully, after all the nonsense you've been through, it looks like you're going to win the day after all. And that's when Lucci sees the same long-nosed guy that he was picking on at Water 7. This guy walks back up to the bridge and starts shouting at Luffy while he's laying on the ground. Luffy! What are you doing? What's up? Oh, wow. So you came after all. That's cool. Hey, Puss in Boots! Forget about him. Since Luffy's too tired to fight, I'll be your opponent. Gonna fight him? That's right. You got a problem with that, Luffy? Not at all. Considering the last time we saw each other, he was beating my ass like it was Batman versus Superman. I'm excited to see you lock in against someone that isn't me. Who was that? She felt personal. I've never seen you fight that hard. Nah, that's fine. You just stay there on the ground and I'll fight her. When we get to Elbap, I'll tell the Giants that I was the one who beat Lucian. That's fine. Wait, what's it? That's right. I saved Rob. And I'm the person who burnt Indy's lobby down to the ground. When they hear that I'm the one who beat Rob Lucci of CP9, they're gonna give me Thor's hammer instead of you. So cut it out. I've been fighting him for 3 hours. You can't take credit for this. But you better believe that, Luffy. I already met 2 giants earlier today. We became best friends. I'll just go tell them that I saved the day. And then they'll tell all their giant homies that me, the great Captain Usopp, deserves Thor's hammer more than Monkey D. Luffy. So cut it out. You know I called dibs on Thor's hammer. It's mine. Oh, Lucci's coming over here, Luffy. We're about to have an epic battle. I'm gonna finish him off and pretend I was the hero this whole time. Maybe Zoro will get a crack at him too. Sanji's here and Frankie can fight too, Luffy. We might as well jump him. Then all of us get sheer custody of Thor's hammer. It'll be great. Leopard bitch, don't go over there. That hammer is mine. It is so crazy that you idiots to push us this far, but I'm tired of it, alright? I'm just gonna kill all of them. No, you can't fight anymore. Just sit there and watch. Who can't fight anymore? I could do this all day. What are you, Captain America? Just stay down. It's over. Oh no. I swear on Thor's hammer. Till I turn you into a pelt, my body isn't touching the ground for the rest of this fight. Beat him, Luffy. and we'll go to Elbaf together. So now Lucci has to fight this lunatic again, and now he's softly singing "I Need a Hero" to himself while he throws punches at him. He's fighting way harder than he should be right now because the Kaioken has been training him and hurting him this entire time. So Lucci is tired of this. He grabs the crackhead with his tail and hits him with a third 16 gun, and then he walks away because surely it is over now. Hey, I didn't hear no bell. The crackhead that Lucci has been fighting for 3.5 hours straight is staring at him in the face. The maniac that's been attacking Eni's lobby screams, "Gomu Gomu no Jet Gatling," and then starts throwing hands at Rob Lucci. Lucci tries to use Iron Body to absorb the impact, but it is no use. He is whooping his ass with a staggering barrage of punches. Luffy punches Pusher Boots through the wall and out of the tower. The fight is finally over. Captain Crackhead has knocked out Robert bitch-ass Lucci. Rest in peace, Toriyama! So Luffy finally did it, but the Straw Hats are still in a bad spot. Come on, Luffy, keep pushing! No, I think I pushed all I can. What? We ain't both gonna make it. Go. I'll hold them off. Luke, what are you talking about? It will mean a lot. Please. What are you
hold them off.
telling me right now? Get the hell out of here and be a goddamn man. Luffy! You're my brother. I know. Luffy can't make it over there to their escape ship, and to make matters worse, the Marines actually decide that they want to be competent for once. They destroy the ship the Straw Hats were going to escape in, so now they're all stuck and stranded in this precarious position. The Marines start to destroy more of the bridge until they corner all the Straw Hats at the very edge that's overlooking the sea. Things are more dire than they've ever been, and in the middle of it all, Usopp starts to hear a voice telling him to look below. What is that? Oh, no. Oh, for us, man, you're so... Jump in the sea! Everyone right now, jump in the sea! So, what are you talking about? We can't just shut up and listen to me. We've all been working together to save Robin. All of the Straw Hats together. But we still have one more crew member. We still have one more friend. Chopper, did you look down there? Yes, I did. Robin, grab Luffy and throw him into the sea. Hey, whoa, hey, ha. Oh, yeah. To the sea! To the sea! To the sea! To the sea! Rob Lucci lays on the ground, clinging to consciousness, cursing this group of fools that he assumes only made it this far because of blind luck. And the last thing he sees is that group of naive fools jumping into the sea in what seems to be mass hysteria. That is until he, too, finally looks below. There, waiting for them on the surface of the sea, is the ship that Kaku and the other shipwrights told the Straw Hats would never sail again. The ship that Lucci himself made sure to crash into the ocean. Water 7 was meant to be the Mary's grave, and Lucci believes that he was witness to the end of the Straw Hats as well as the end to the Going Merry, only to now realize the truth. The truth is, the Straw Hats didn't win today because of blind luck or Marine incompetence. The Straw Hats won because the love they have for each other is so strong, even the ship that they sailed on felt obligated to reciprocate that love and come through for them one more time. As Lucci wrestles with the uncomfortable truth that the Straw Hats have won and the Burn government lost, he finally allows himself to lose consciousness because it is finally well and truly over. A bunch of maniacs broke into his job, beat up every single one of his co-workers, blew up the entire island before they beat him up, and escaped on what he can only assume to be a magic boat. For any other villain, this would have been the most chaotic last day of work, but Rob Lucci is something else. He's not going to get fired, and in fact, we will be seeing him in future episodes. And that is about the end of Eni's Lobby. Well, not completely the end. We still have post Eni's Lobby, but that'll be next. Thank you guys so much for being here. These videos obviously are my favorite to make, but they also take a lot of time due to, how much One Piece I have to pour through to make sure that I write the script that I want to write for these videos. So just thank you for your patience. If you're still here and you still enjoy these videos, it truly does mean the world to me. It's the part where I obligatorily plug the other things that I'm doing. Like if you want to support me, check out the Patreon and also have the chance to vote in exclusive movie boot council votes on what videos that I do next, and also exclusive content that I don't post in here. Go ahead and check out the Patreon there. Also, my Twitch is really fun. We game there every weekend with my friends, and during the week I'm going to be doing single player campaigns, maybe switch it up a couple of times, but we are now knee deep in Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is hilarious will be the next video on this chapter, or the next big video on this channel that I am just so, it's been such a journey. And all the people that have been following on Twitch, your names will be in the video. I would specifically thank every one of you because truly, it's a journey. And once we finally get Kingdom Hearts 1 out, I can start my playthrough of Kingdom Hearts 2. So yeah, if that interests you, if you like Kingdom Hearts. Is there any other villain in this group?
Oh wow. I was about to go to sleep too. God damn it. Huh? Yeah, I have to watch this shit. It's the new review. I don't want to spoil it for you, so later.
Wow! What time is it? Does time even exist? Serious existential questions. Does time exist? Because I don't know. I'm so jet lagged right now. Hey everybody, Techie Mom 1 here. Back from the magical country of Japan for the second time. I got this really cool jacket, and I think I owe you an L-back from last week. And I'll throw in an Asperia in there too, 'cause that's where we're at right now. So, okay. Ow. All right, and then Hesperia. No, that doesn't work. Hesperia. You gotta say that with a little bit of elegance, right? It's a rather posh nation full of a bunch of different like musicians and their craft. All right, let me try that again. Hesperia. There we go. That's the Hesperia. Okay. This will be one page, chapter 1184, titled Only Boats Get Left Behind. I feel like I have to add the word laugh after that because it is something he says, he sings in this chapter. And so we have that, and we also have the cover page with he's really going all in on lately. He's just like, yeah. If the song was going to be relevant now, rap, that's where I throw the curveball at you. It turns out it's all Brooke all the time. I'm okay with that. So we have the cover art request of Brooke getting electrocuted by a bunch of jellyfish. And so we see that. We see Brooke in a little light craft, drinking some tea, and a bunch of jellyfish. The jellyfish that have Emu's eyes, by the way. So we learn later that it turns out Emu's true form, his real body, is like a sentient jellyfish that like latches onto people. Like there's a jellyfish possessing Emu to Rona, and that's what happened. You know, the true form the entire time was jellyfish. And they'll be like, okay, I mean, evolutionarily, they're very old, so maybe they've been around for a long time. This is the origin. I don't know. But anyway, Brooke is immune to electricity, so he's just kind of smiling and just like, giving a thumbs up as he's getting shocked. By the way, I would assume it's because when you get stung by a jellyfish, it feels like you're getting like shocked electrical current. But when it becomes like a thing that's like jellyfish stings or like electrical, because that's in Yu-Gi-Oh too. I think there's like a reference to that in Yu-Gi-Oh where there's a jellyfish card that does like lightning stuff, and it's just like what shit. I
Hmm?
guess it's something.
Half asleep, but sure. We ain't going all the way down the cafe. We're just going to watch you. For real? Yeah. Oh, all right. All right. Damn, that place is funny. Not gonna lie. Compared to the other place, that place is funny. Their attitude is so stank. Hmm? What? Yeah, first watch, their employees' attitude is so stank. I'll never forget my interaction with them outside the restaurant.